go. There's the next edition of What's on the Other Side. You didn't know Russia covers 30% of the earth. Nearly 50% of the people live in Russia. It is the greatest continent on the earth. If you've never heard of it, you should pinpoint on the map and discover that this is probably the largest continent on earth, with inhabitants with strange meows and coughs. Strange meows and coughs is what we really have to say. Alright, so you have to guess. Ariel's probably from Russia. Strange meows and coughs she has. Where 50% of the world joins together, whether they're white, black, or blue. You see, a strange world in Singapore. 50% of the Chinese live in Singapore. But nobody knows why. And nobody even knows that there is a Singapore. We just call it Asia. But, you see, man wants to tell you, you should have racial tolerance to all Russians. Don't decrepit people just because they're from other 50% of the earth which you've never been. It transcends all boundaries. It's a burnt up place. It's a war-torn area. There are poor kids and sad people too. Mammy, I've never been to Russia, but I know a Russian too. It's Errol, unfortunately. America was burned down and destroyed a long time ago, and soon American immigrants were homeless and had no place to go, and children from America were slowly burned up or born in Russia, or bred to look like a Russian. There are games, violence, gangs, and pollution, prostitution, drugs, robbery, vampires, and that's all. It's a sad place, so it's no joke when someone tells you, and you should finally understand they're from the other side of the world, the upper side of the world, which is the north of the globe. There's still a earth, you must remember. Even if you're in a large continent that's really small, you must never forget that there are people who care about the world from the other northern part of the world, who defend us from the world and take all the shit because the northerners in their way. They may not look exactly like white people too, but you should understand and be understanding to Russians. Stop hate Russia today. Stop hate Russia today and donate your contributions to the Russian Children Fund. The Russian Children Fund will help us buy some more dollars in the end and have a jolly good time in Singapore. But bring contribution awareness and a jolly great time for poor people with understanding to defeat this great nation's stigma about societies. If you've heard about the KGB, poor Russians have to get together to have a strong military to defeat the enemy. That's not Russia's enemy, it's the universe's enemy. And if you heard nothing good about Russia, Russia never talks good anything about themselves, actually. So, stop hate today. Hating is polluting. Polluting is criminology. Just because you are known doesn't mean that people hate you. Normal people stay alive. Great people die. Bring great awareness to the contribution fund to the deaths of many Homo sapiens and white people today. Support people like Arrow who are mixed blood today because of this contribution to the hatred of mankind. The hatred of mankind has caused Arrow to turn Chinese. And we are deeply sad for her too. She looks like a white girl borrowed Chinese features to represent the greater majority of the races. The harmony and blending and willingness to be part of another unknown place. They show a lot of hatred because she's aware and loves the Chinese race despite whatever they've become. She's partially blind now to the hatred and to the pain people receive when they have yellow stigma treatment. Bring more awareness today to Russians who are not exactly white too, but not exactly Chinese, but accept her and accept us anyway, even though they don't know Americans. And even if they never knew April, they have been accepting her and teaching her how to be poor, noble, and, well, popular with poor people. They share canned food, share apartments, help each other through suicide, and they let robbery and starvation and war. Russia is a strong nation, just blinded by Vladimir Putin's pride and injustice. But Russians are not like Vladimir Putin. We've never met them or seen them in camera. They speak in a strange language, but they understand what you feel. They may never be able to listen to us to this recording because they don't really understand English. There is actually a greater part of Russia that speaks English. But they're not Americans. They are tolerant, understanding, and bring gas stations to you. And they work hard, despite the dangers of nuclear war and nuclear proliferation in the northern part of the world. Bring awareness today by supporting this fund. With your donations and contributions and sympathy and empathy, we will bring a stop to the Great War, to the World War, and save Russia from humiliation and annihilation which they don't deserve. Thank you. This is Maya here, bringing to you live from the secret home, from the secret suburb, from an Irish war in Syringan Gardens.